Neha, I will ask you, you have written this. Was Ishan's character written with six-pack abs in mind?
Ishan's casting, the character demanded him to be who he already is. I don't think he had to do anything
Of
else.
course, the character never said six-pack abs. She never put that down on
No,
page.
no,
I
that
think
was
we
us.
just got
That was us
very
being greedy
you
about
four
it.
women.
First
Yes,
scene,
attractive
opening
man.
shot.
Yes,
Attractive
yes.
man on a horse.
Shirtless. Come on.
Shirtless, yes.
There's so much curiosity and interest in Zeenat Aman's character because people love her on Instagram.
Zeenat ma'am's casting, I would say, is the brainchild of Rangita Nandy right here, along with Tanya Bami at Netflix. It was something that they were toying with around the first time when they came to me with the story of the show. And I remember them mentioning the name. I didn't wait to hear anything else. I had just about read the Bible. And I was like, okay, let's do it.
There's a British show called Royals. This has got to do anything with that? Is that a collaboration or absolutely no connection here?
No,
Very
nothing.
different.
Very, very
gay
different.
romance.
No,
Also,
I
that is
watched
a
it
queer
only
romance.
because-
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
queer
yeah,
romance.
That's a
for
queer
sure.
romance. It's a beautiful show, but no.
Very
It's set in
different
school
from
also.
us.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's set in school. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's completely
Completely
different.
yeah.
Completely different.
Very different.
What is your favorite part about this series?
For me, it's the romance.
For me, Aviraj
Yeah.
Sophia, I
Yeah,
think.
it's at the heart of it.
At the
yes.
heart of it.
And
I
it's
mean,
Aviraj Sophia, it is Sakshi, and let's leave that open.
Yes,
It's
yes.
Kavya,
There are so many of
and let's
those.
leave that open. But there are
Yeah.
so many romances
There
here.
are
It
so
feels
many
like a bouquet of
romances.
that. So for me,
Yeah.
the romance.
कुछ
Yeah.
भी कर लो घूम फिर के, like Dharma says, like Karan Johar says, it's
Yeah.
all about family.
It's all about
Loving
family.
your family.
Loving your family.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Bollywood Hungama. I'm Rohit Khilnani. Joining me on today's show are the makers of the upcoming Netflix series, The Royals. This is the team that's created the show. Hi guys.
Hey, Rohit.
Hi, Rohit.
Rangita, first to you. You're the creator of the show. You know this space very well. What made you create this? Where did the idea come from? Where was this born?
Oh God, I mean, I think it came down to the fact that I've always wanted to make a romantic comedy in a series format, because in a film, what happens is that you have that run time, that you have to make them meet at, have a calamity happen, and then them get together. But with series, you can defy that format and do so much more with a romance. You can actually get into their pants, get under their skin, go wherever you need to just make it feel real and yet magical. And that's why, I wanted to do a romance. And then, clearly when you want to do a romance, there's going to be a boy or a girl. Sometimes that changes as well. But this particular one, we wanted to change that up and really, really have like an exciting backdrop. And what's more exciting in India than, royalty, palaces. Typically, you see only bhoot kahanis in palaces, and people hanging off, all kinds of chandeliers and things like that. So it was fun to take that world and infuse it with just humor, a dysfunctional family, and a lot of romance, and play that tug of war out amidst the palaces, that was really the whole point of doing the royals.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Nupur, I will ask you, you tell me about the casting. This is unusual casting, great actors. You've got a great bunch of actors for this one. Tell me about the process of casting.
Well, I have to say that a lot of the casting was done by Rangita, our casting director Panchami, Priyanka, and the entire team. Much before I came, just a few characters were cast when I came on board, because I came on board last. Pretty much. But I think that they did a really good job on it, because everyone is so well cast in terms of what is required from a character, and they actually really all the cast members are really leaning into their characters, which is really wonderful. And finding that sense of comedy, romance, all of that, they've just like nailed it. So I think everyone is cast really perfectly for each role, for the roles.
Also, I'll tell you what's rare is that typically you have characters who, actors who come in and play characters, like just secondary characters is what they're typically called, or tertiaries. But we spent a lot of
Lot of
time
time.
working their arcs.
Each and every one of
Every
them.
arc. So the actors were hungry for the material they were being given,
Yeah.
which has been written by her. And each one of those arcs were mapped from beginning to end. So you never had Zeenat there not doing something. Or you never had Sakshi there not doing something, just making a fancy entry with a pretty face.
Yeah.
You know, she has so much meat to bite into.
every scene they had
So I think
something
the
or other.
writing,
Yeah.
the writing
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
leaned into that.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Tell me that there's so much curiosity and interest in Zeenat Aman's character because people love her on Instagram. How was her casting? How did it take shape? She approached you all approached her. How did that go about?
Zeenat ma'am's casting, I would say, is the brainchild of Rangita Nandy right here, along with Tanya Bami at Netflix. It was something that they were toying with around the first time when they came to me with the story of this show. And I remember them mentioning the name. I didn't wait to hear anything else. I had just about read the Bible. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Because it was really, genuinely the biggest surprise package. I think everyone knew that was around the time when Zeenat ma'am had done her comeback into social media, and she was creating a persona of her own. And I think there was absolutely no one else who could have pulled off Majisa as well as she did. And it's kudos to the team here, Rangita, Ishita, Tanya, and the entire team at PNC and Netflix that actually thought of that, and we thought to jump onto the bandwagon immediately. And I had the privilege of starting readings with her from the get-go. So yeah.
Great. Neha, I will ask you, you have written this. Was Ishan's character written with six-pack abs in mind? His physique, the way he is, his vibe? Or was that really the requirement, and was he told that?
Actually, he was always written to be this really gorgeous, attractive, sexy Maharaja, young Maharaja.
Yeah.
And so, because you're like Rohita was saying about the essence of a rom-com, inherently you're looking at interesting pairings.
Yeah.
People who either look like they belong or like how could they belong, but oh my god, love
They do
happens in the
belong.
most
Yeah.
unexpected ways
True.
between the most unexpected people in real life. And that's what you're trying to recreate here.
Yeah.
So I feel like with Ishan's casting,
Mm.
the character demanded him to be who he already is. I don't think he had to do anything
Of
else.
course, the character never said six-pack abs. She never put that down on page.
No,
I
that was
think we
us.
just got
That was us.
very
Being greedy
Yeah,
about
four
it.
women.
First
Yes,
scene,
attractive
opening
man.
shot.
Yes,
Attractive
yes.
man on a horse.
Shirtless.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
Shirtless, yes.
Of course, 4 women and shirtless requirement.
But I have to say that look at it this way, right? You have 4 women. We're
Yeah.
at different
Yeah.
age groups, all different on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Not on the spectrum, different
Of the age spectrum.
Of the age spectrum.
Yeah.
How could we not?
Not
And
want
you're
to
missing a
Hati.
few here. There was Tanya. There was so many
Yeah,
of us.
way
We
too
just
many
wanted
people.
the juiciest actor for this role. I mean, he
Yeah.
really had to leap off the page, off the screen. And
Absolutely.
you want him and you want Ishan.
And that's
Yeah.
what she
There
mentioned.
was a phone call that we had in 2023 where we
Yes.
came up with Ishan.
Yes, he was so good. He was
And
so
I
good.
remember Rangita saying that it's a rom-com. At the end of the day, you need the man to be desirable and yet have those depths which only and only Ishan could dig deep
Yes.
into. So
He is such a tremendous actor.
He's a brilliant
Yeah.
But I'll
actor.
tell you this, the first time he walked into the Taj Lands End, the conference
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
Okay. I think we all just looked, the breed was right, the carriage was
Yeah,
right. We
yeah.
knew he was an ace actor. Anybody who's watched
yeah,
his,
yeah.
filmography
Yeah.
before that knows that. But we hadn't seen him be this
gorgeous
Thirst trap?
man. Yeah.
Thirst trap.
In
We
his
hadn't seen him be
snackable
this thirst
era.
trap.
Snackable
Yeah.
era.
And I think he leaned into it.
Yeah, yeah. He
I think
really
every
went for
time
it.
we said, can we lose the shirt?
He would-
He gave us a look, but he did it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Every time we said we need you to be this,
He obliged.
he obliged.
Each time. Yeah.
It was a different trick in his book, I feel, but he totally
I
embraced
think he enjoyed it as well.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had a
I think
blast.
he's
He had a
enjoying it
blast.
even now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
If you could tell me this, there's a British show called Royals. This has got to do anything with that? Is that a collaboration or absolutely no connection here?
Not at all.
No,
Not at
I
all,
I
actually.
actually
I've not
went
even
back
seen
and
it.
watched that because I made a young adult show recently, as you are well aware of. And it's actually about very young royalty in school or college or something.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah, high
not
school.
British,
British Norwegian, I think.
Yeah.
Swedish
Yes.
Norwegian.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But
it's a
no,
very
nothing.
different.
Very,
can
very
see
gay
different.
romance.
No,
Also,
I
that
watched
is a
it
queer
only
romance.
because-
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a queer
yeah,
romance.
That's a
for
queer
sure.
romance. It's a beautiful show, but no.
Very
It's set in
different
school
from
also.
us.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
it's set in
It's set in
school.
school.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's completely different.
Completely, yeah.
Completely different.
Very different.
Tell me, did you have to keep something in mind that we should not put this, calling it the royals, because somewhere some royalty could go and get upset with it and talk about misrepresentation or something? Any of those apprehensions while making it or writing it?
But it's not based on anybody.
Yeah.
It's a fictitious
It's
story,
a fictional romance, rom-com.
Mhm.
And we're really talking about, we're not even talking, I mean, reality, royalty is a backdrop. And then we're taking these specific characters
Yeah.
and exploring them, what makes them tick, what are their ambitions, their insecurities, all of that. So it's not based on anyone
It's
in
very
particular. at all.
specific to our show
Yeah.
and entirely fictional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, the beauty is that when we were growing up, right? I mean, all of us, right, as young women, we were always looking for Prince Charming, you know, and I think we just took the concept of that
Prince
much
Charm-
further.
Yes,
You know, and
true.
we just played with that. There's not a realm of reality in it, except for the fact that we wanted the man on a horse to come riding into Bhumi's life,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
into a common woman's life who is an
Literally.
ace
happened.
businesswoman, you
Yeah.
know, top of her game,
Yeah.
and for both of them to kind of shake the ground beneath
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
other's feet.
Yeah.
That's it.
So when the Royals comes out, what do you think people will talk about? What should they focus on? What should they talk about? What should be their takeaway from your show?
Everything.
Yeah,
I
I
hope they talk about everything.
Yeah.
Not just the love story or just the dysfunctional family or just the empowered CEO that Sophia is and her world from Bombay. And, you know, I think it's a lot of things. There's that whole thing of her being a misfit into the world that she steps into, but the world that she has to kind of fix, the world that requires fixing and its own quirks and its own characters, and all of them, these glorious characters with their own deep-rooted issues, whether they all have a redemption arc, whether they're able to get over their own inherent challenges. I think there's so much to talk about apart from just the love story. And at the heart of it all, you have this beautiful romance, which is the best equation among two protagonists that one could have asked for. I think I'm very privileged that we got this opportunity to like have this push and pull, and thank you guys for writing such wonderful characters that we were just given the wings to fly with it.
And the interesting thing is that it's a love story and it's a romance and all of that, but it's not just one romance.
Yeah,
Yes, there is a
multiple.
main romance, but
Yes.
there are multiple romances.
Yeah.
And not just with people, with things.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
so
yes, yes.
there's a lot of passion that we're talking about
That's
for
so
different
true.
things.
Yeah.
So I hope that jumps out
Yeah.
for people
I
watching.
really hope there's a little bit for everybody
Yeah.
in it.
I
you
also
know?
feel that the genre that this is,
Yeah.
it has to feel a little bit like coming home, a little
Yeah.
personal. So
Yeah.
when you see the romance, there has to be a bit of you in that.
Yeah.
When you see the family, you have to feel like you belong to it. So I think if you come away from the show feeling like it felt like home, you know, like a
Yeah.
little bit of you, then you'll go back and watch it again and again, and we'll all
Yeah.
be back in business
And I
again.
think the thing that we've all, because
Yeah.
the thing that we've all been like resonating with and liking and hoping on its release is that for a while we haven't seen a show or a movie which feels wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like you can call it a romantic comedy, you can call it a dysfunctional family drama, like
Drama.
Priyanka
Family
was saying.
drama.
Yeah.
And you can say that it's a show about modern India, you know,
Yeah.
old India clashing with the new India.
Yeah.
The old India, which is legacy, the new India, which is building its own legacy, the entrepreneurs, the
Yeah.
working women and
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
But there is, I feel like for a while you haven't had a show or a story or a film which is like, I feel like I can sit and watch with my parents and
Yeah.
I can watch with the whole family and enjoy and laugh and really just the thrill of it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all encompassing.
Yes.
Very wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, since four of you have your own opinions, each one of you tell me what is your favorite part about this series?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I think we'll all have different
Different
hits.
things. So I think for me it would be having watched the whole thing. I think now, because everything is in now the watching. It's no longer on the page. So having watched the whole thing, I think very tough.
Yeah, I
I'm a
genuinely
romance
Very
girl,
tough.
so for me, it's the romance.
For me, Aviraj
Yeah.
Sophia.
Yeah,
I think
It's at the heart of it.
at the
yes.
heart of it.
And it's Aviraj Sophia. It is Sakshi, and let's leave that open.
Yes,
It's
yes.
Kavya,
There are so many of
and let's
those.
leave that open. But there are
Yeah.
so many romances
There
here.
are
It
so
feels
many
like a bouquet of
romances.
that. So
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
the romance.
Yeah.
There's
It's
love
true.
is in the air, truly, in
Really.
this show.
We're in
That's
Love
true.
Land,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think for me it's that 100%.
yeah.
But for me, it's that family dynamic. I feel the dysfunctionality between people. There's a entrepreneur's family, which are like young startups. You make your family as working women, working men.
Yeah.
And then there's actual family of the royalty. And I feel like the dysfunctionality, their intersection, their relationships with each other, and how family can be so brutal, but they always have your back.
Back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that I feel
Yeah.
like kuch
Yeah.
bhi kar lo ghoom phir ke, like Dharma says, like Karan Johar says, it's
Yeah.
all about family.
Yeah.
It's all about
Loving
family.
your
So,
family.
Loving your family.
Yeah.
No matter how
Yeah.
brutal they can be. I feel like
True.
there's some element
Yeah.
of that I really enjoyed
Yeah.
by watching
For me
the
as well.
episodes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
family
Yes.
is really very, very
Potent.
Yeah.
potent.
Yeah.
So, can we expect a second season?
You're going to have to ask Netflix about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
I
we're
was gonna say,
hoping.
yeah. Ask
We're
Netflix.
hoping.
Thank you so much, guys. Can't wait for the world to watch it. Guys, watch The Royals on Netflix on May 9th. Thank you, all of you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohit.